Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And with that, the stage is set. Officially, the 2024 election narrative has been set. Maybe it's just going to be the way that it is now as we march into the digital age. Every 4 years, every American election is going to be less a battle of ideas and characters and more, a movie. An unbelievable theatrical play. 2016 was certainly that. 2020, I'd say up the ante, considering how many crazy things were going on and how everything was being manipulated. And now 2024, they're literally trying to jail their political opponent as they pretend to be fighting for democracy. It's a choice between good and evil, fascism or liberty, fascistic overthrow of elections or democracy. It's become arguably life or death. In a certain way, certainly for Donald Trump, it's all or nothing. It's either he wins or the country will never be the same again. The stage has been set for this one. The guilty verdict dropped 24 hours ago as I'm recording this video. We've already got some huge developments, some major breaking headlines. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so let's first start off with the rocket guy. We have been on the edge of our seats waiting for Elon Musk to make a real strong statement about this election. After all, he's one of the most influential people on the planet, and certainly the most influential person on X, with nearly 200 million followers. But Elon is also an apolitical guy who prefers to stay neutral. He very rarely gives political statements, but apparently this was too much for even Elon. Kanekoa the Great released a great tweet here. CNN senior legal analyst describes how the Trump conviction was a political hit job. Linking to a story by The Intelligencer, written by Eli Honig, this guy, the CNN legal analyst that we cover very often, he writes, prosecutors got Trump, but they contorted the law. Elon Musk retweeted this whole tweet and wrote, hard to view this as anything other than abuse of the law for political purposes. That tweet alone has 28 million impressions. 28 million with an M. So let's go back to what I said earlier. The election just started, right? Now is where the framing is in, the narrative, the story is in. It's this guy who believes this thing and this guy who believes this thing. Which side will you take? And on the first day, you have Elon Musk defending you to tens of millions of people, while also announcing that Elon Musk's X will stage a town hall with Donald Trump coming soon, which already, as I'm recording this video, has 55 million views or impressions. The election just started and Donald Trump just got amazing publicity that if he would have had to pay for would probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Joe Biden might have unleashed a beast that he will not be able to cage. In terms of messaging, in terms of narrative building, how can Joe Biden possibly compete with what's going on in the Trump camp right now? It's not just Elon Musk, who's about to open up his entire platform to Donald Trump and his cause or his argument in his defense, and of course his vision for America. It's also on a fundraising front. The Trump team just announced this 24 hours later and almost $53 million raised online. In the 24 hours since crooked Joe Biden and his New York henchmen got their sham trial verdict, the Trump campaign has raised $52.8 million through online digital fundraising platforms. That's more than $2 million per hour. With more than 1/3 of these donors being new to the campaign, it is clear that more and more Americans are seeing through the Biden election interference and joining President Trump in the movement to save our nation. Biden and his Democrat allies have turned our legal system into a political tool, and Americans from every corner of the country have had enough, said Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita. This momentum is just getting started, and together, as President Trump stated perfectly, Americans will render the real verdict on November 5th. It is on. Finally, Donald Trump is no longer trapped in New York City. Honestly, it must feel a little bit freeing. He's now unlocked, unleashed, ready to tour the country, and boy, does he have the messaging campaign. And I think it's one that's going to be very powerful. I think a lot of people are going to be sympathetic to the Trump cause. I just don't see how Biden could end up benefiting from this. Like I've said previously, I think even if Donald Trump was guilty of this supposed campaign violation that got twisted and contorted into a felony charge, even if, most people don't care. Most people don't see it as a big deal. Most people probably have a very similar reaction. I feel like a lot of politicians have done this and gotten away with it, and it's never been a big deal. But now, because it's Trump, he should face 25 years in prison? No, just no. I think a lot of people feel as though they deserve a say, that their voices should be heard, that they, the people, should get to decide who becomes president, and not a crooked judge and partisan district attorney in Manhattan. The people talking about democracy are the same ones intending on stripping the democracy experience. But the most idiotic part of this whole ordeal is the handing off of their most powerful tool. Democrats worked years to put together this fear-mongering, save democracy talking point, this narrative that they've worked so hard to build. Well, they essentially just gave it all to Trump. Trump. He actually has a leg to stand on in making this argument of standing up against the shadowy cabal that's so intent of manipulating the outcome of this election. They tried impeaching him twice, pulling him off the ballot, and now they're trying to put him in prison in the midst of an election. You know, essentially everything that Rachel Maddow was telling us in the last election that Donald Trump was supposed to do. He's the supposed threat who's going to end elections as we know it and jail his political opponents, weaponize the DOJ. We all remember that. Well, now Trump can essentially campaign using the same talking points, except they actually pack substance, they pack a punch. And boy, is the Trump camp doing that.
The left.
This is the Democrats' entire strategy, to confine President Trump to a dirty criminal courtroom and keep him off the campaign trail where he can bring his winning message to voters across this country.
New York has become a legal banana republic. They are so determined to get Donald Trump.
Look, convicting Donald Trump, that's all they have.
I think they have no cards, and they're depending upon Trump getting convicted.
This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir?
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
This is a manufactured criminal case.
Ridiculous charges.
What happened today was offensive to the Constitution.
They've never articulated the crime here.
Awaken a sleeping giant.
What the radical left Democrats are counting on is your silence and your submission.
No one's going to stop us. No one's going to slow us down.
The only way for us to fight back successfully is to elect Donald Trump in November.
When President Trump came out and said the real verdict will be on November 5th, he couldn't be more right.
But don't get mad. Get motivated.
We will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
It's been 24 hours since the verdict dropped, and already we're living through a freaking high-stakes movie. Election season just started. Boy, it's gonna be an interesting one. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.